Hello everybody, I am here to share with you today kind of my everyday makeup routine, and I'm also going to be testing out the Tarte Shape Tape foundation. This is the matte one. There has been a lot of controversy surrounding this because when Tarte Shape Tape came out, they had a bunch of shade range for lighter skins, but they only had like 2 dark skin foundation shades. So I'll put a picture over here of the shade range that they came out with, but they have added some more shades, so I felt like this was a good time to be able to try this foundation out. I wish they had come out with all of the shades to begin with, but unfortunately they didn't. But they are trying to fix that as a brand, so I think that that is a really good start for them, and hopefully other brands will learn from their mistake and they will come out with a shade range for everyone, regardless of your skin color, at first when they just launch a product instead of having to add some later on. So we are going to be testing this out today. I will go through my makeup routine so that you guys can see what I do every day, and then I do need to run some errands. I have class later today, so I'm going to do that, and then I will kind of show you what everything looks like at the end of the day so you can see how it wears and how it applies and all of that good stuff. So if you'd like to see my everyday makeup routine for when I need to go to class and need to do my makeup and not spend a whole lot of time on it, and you want to see how Shape Tape wears, then keep watching. Alright, so first we gotta get some tea. It's like 10:30 in the morning, and I've had my coffee, but apparently it was a rough night because it's not helping. So first thing we're going to do is take the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water, and I'll kind of zoom you guys in a little bit so you can better see what I'm doing. So we're going to be taking this. Okay, so basically what happened is my SD card was full and I didn't know. So what I did after I took the primer water was I took the Loreal Infallible, the matte primer, mattifying one. So this is a drugstore one. It's really good to keep you oily. It does say on here that it blurs pores and it smooths like fine lines and stuff. I don't really see that so much, but it does keep me matte all day, which is really important for me. And it is on the drugstore pricing. So it's like around $10 or $11, which is pretty good for a primer that works this well. They did also come out with a luminizing one, so if you have dry skin, you can use that. But if you're looking for something that will keep you matte all day, this is a really good primer. Next thing I did was, if I can find it, I took the Tarte Shape Tape foundation, and I have the shade Light Medium. So I just started, if you can kind of see, just kind of started dotting it around my face. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it on half of my face, and I'm going to use, this is my Clarisonic. This is really expensive, so it's not necessary. I got this on Black Friday, and it was a really good deal. So I got the Mia 2, the like regular face like cleansing head, and then it also came with the makeup head, and it was like $100, so that's why I got that, because that's a really good deal. And I got it at Ulta. But obviously this is really expensive, so there are other options. You don't have to use this. The Morphe Y6 is a really good brush to use for foundation, as well as the IT Cosmetics. Let me check. I will go grab it and tell you exactly what it's called because I don't know. Okay, so this is the IT Cosmetics brushes for Ulta, and this one is the Airbrush Blurring Foundation number 101. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Nope. Okay, so this is a really good brush. You can get it at Ulta. It does the same job as the Clarisonic. I do like using the Clarisonic better just because it does a really nice job of spreading out my foundation, and it doesn't make me look cakey, and it goes really fast, so that's why I like to use this one. But the Ulta brush does just as good of a job. And it's a lot cheaper. It's like $20. So those are some cheaper options that you can use, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my Clarisonic and I'm going to blend out the side of my face that has makeup on it, and then once I get done with that, I will use the other side with a sponge so that you can kind of see the difference. Okay, so there's one side of my face done, and I will kind of zoom you in further. I know it's a scary sight. So that you can kind of see the difference. So this is the side of my face that has the foundation on it. This side does not. And then I will go in with my sponge now so that you can kind of see the difference with how it applies with a brush and then how it applies with a sponge. And I'm using my viewfinder as like a mirror, so that's why I keep looking over here. What I'm doing. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like. I don't think it's definitely not the most full coverage foundation that I have, which I was a little surprised by when I first got this, just because the Tarte, oh my gosh, I cannot talk today. The Tarte Shape Tape concealer is so full coverage that when they named this Shape Tape as well, I was assuming it was going to be the same thing. It's definitely not the most full coverage foundation that I have, so if you're looking for a really full coverage foundation, this probably isn't the one for you. So just keep that in mind, but I have been wearing this for quite a while now, ever since it came out, and it doesn't settle into any of my fine lines. It doesn't make my pores look like really emphasized either. It doesn't blur them like some foundations and primers and all of that stuff does, but it doesn't like make them look terrible either. But I do think it looks really nice on the skin. So if you're trying to cover up like a lot of acne spots, this one probably isn't the best foundation for you, but it's definitely a medium coverage foundation. You can build it up a little bit, but if you go in too heavy with it, it can start to look cakey, so also keep that in mind. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is take my concealer. So I have the Tarte Shape Tape concealer, and this is in the shade Light Neutral. And then I've also, and I just got this one from Ulta last week, and this is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Conceal and Contour, and this is in the shade C6. Some people have been like comparing these two. I don't really think that this is a dupe like everyone is saying that it is, and it's kind of hard to find your shade in this, so keep that in mind as well. It doesn't do as good of a job with being full coverage either. The Makeup Revolution doesn't, as the Tarte Shape Tape. I will never be able to say this right. It covers pretty much anything that you would ever want it to, but it does take a while to blend out because it is a thicker concealer. This one's much easier to blend out, but it doesn't cover it quite as much. So just keep that in mind. For my everyday look, I do usually use this because it is only like $6.99 or $5.99, something like that at Ulta, and so it's a lot cheaper than buying the Shape Tape and wearing that every day, but it also blends out a lot easier. So if I'm in a hurry, this is the one I go to. So I just kind of blend this, or apply this all over. You can't. I am going to take, this is also the Makeup Revolution Luxury Baking Powder, and this is in the shade Lace. This, I watch Casey Holmes videos, so I will link her channel below if you don't know who she is. She's really great, and she also suffers with like oily skin really bad, and she has like rosacea on her cheeks and stuff, so she is kind of like me and wants to cover that, and she also has oily skin, so I really like watching her videos. But she highly recommended this powder a couple days ago, and she actually put it in her February favorites. Sorry, my phone's going off. So I tried it out, and I like it as well. I feel like it does a really good job of setting all of my concealer and my foundation, and it doesn't leave that like white cast like a lot of powders do, so it won't flash back in pictures or anything like that, and it keeps me matte all day as well. And right now I am taking the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, You can get this, really any drugstore has it, so I got mine at CVS, Ulta has it. I'm sure like Walgreens, Walmart, Target, all of those places have this as well. Next thing I'm going to do, this is the Wet n Wild Color Iconic blushes. I really like these. I have them in 2 different shades and they're very pigmented, so you definitely want to make sure to go in with a light hand when you use them, but they blend out really well and they're really cheap. They're like $2.99 or something like that at CVS. So this is in the shade Pearlescent Pink. Looks like this. It's a more like peachy orange blush. So like I said, they are pretty pigmented, so you just want to keep that in mind. Definitely dust off the excess and then go in really lightly. I am going to next just take my Physicians Formula bronzer again, and I am going to put that in the creases of my eye. And this is what I do every day because it just kind of adds some dimension to your eyelid without having to take a really long time to do like an intricate eye look. And you can do this with any bronzer. And then if I have like extra time, what I will do is I will take my highlighter and I will use that all over my lid and kind of blend my bronzer into that, and it makes for a really nice eye look. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take highlight, and this is a liquid one. It's the Shimmering Skin Perfector poured in the shade Opal from Becca, and as you can see, it's well loved. So I just kind of take my beauty blender into this, dip it in, and then all I do is I put this on my cheekbones. And I use my beauty blender to do this because I just feel like it makes everything look extremely like blended and smooth on the skin. And I'll put a little bit on the tip of my nose, my Cupid's bow, and then I like to put some on my chin. And I will also put some right in the inner corners of my eye and just a little bit underneath of my brow bone. So then I just curl my lashes and put on some mascara. And I am using the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara. This is another drugstore one that is really, really good. It's like a quarter of the price as some of the higher end brands, and I would actually compare this to the Urban Decay Perversion mascara. I think that it does a lot of the same things, and I would actually call it a dupe. It's the same type of formula. It's a thicker formula, and it works in much of the same way. It adds a lot of volume to your lashes, and it's not so much a separating mascara, so if you don't like those, you probably won't like this, but I just feel like it makes my lashes look really good in the same way that the Urban Decay one does. What I like to do is I like to take a little MAC Fix Plus, and I just kind of spray this all around, and I feel like it makes my highlight really pop, and it also melts all of the powders and everything into my skin. And it adds a bit more moisture to your skin as well. So if you're using really mattifying products like I do, it'll definitely help out with that. And then I like to let that sit, and while that sits, I'm going to do my eyebrows off of camera, and then I'll come back and show you how I finish up the look. Okay, so now that my brows are done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte Finish Setting Spray. Looks like this. I got mine at CVS again, and it was like $4.99 or $5.99 or something like that. This one does a really good job of keeping you matte. So they also came out with, this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Spray. This is just a normal setting spray, and then they came out with the matte one that looks like this. They're both like $4.99, $5, something like that at CVS. This one is going to be good. It does a good job of setting your makeup. So if you're like dry skin, something like that, this does a really good job of that. If you're more oily like me, this keeps you matte all day, and it's fantastic. So what I do is I just spray this all over my face. And then again, I take my beauty blender and I just press this into the skin, and I feel like it does a really good job, because sometimes if you, like when you say spray setting sprays, they can kind of like get stuck on your skin and like patchy. And this just does a good job of pushing everything into your skin so that it like melts into your skin rather than just sitting on top of it. Next thing I do is I take a liquid lipstick. These are actually my favorite. They're also from Wet n Wild, and these are the liquid Catsuit matte lipsticks. This one is in the shade 924B Rebel Rose. And I just like to put this on. Again, this stays all day. I usually touch up like halfway through the day, but that's after like I've eaten and everything. And I just feel like this does a really good job of going on even, and they don't dry your lips out like a lot of liquid lipsticks do, so I really like them, and they're really inexpensive. They're like, again, $4. That is my everyday makeup routine. So when I do this and I'm not doing it on camera and talking and all of that stuff, it usually only takes me like 10 minutes. So it's really good for during the day when I get up and I go to work and it's like 6:30 in the morning. And I have to leave the house at like 7:30-ish. This is really easy and quick, and it lasts me all day. So now I'm just going to go about my day. I'll take you along with me. Again, I have to go run some errands, go to school for a couple hours, and then we'll see what it looks like at the end of the day. Okay, so it is now 3:40, and this is what the makeup's looking like. Still a little bit caked up around my nose, and I tried to kind of blend that out, but it looks like it's back. Also on my nose, like where the powder was, is looking kind of, like cakey and almost like it's wanting to break up, and like separate, and it's also doing that right here, like around my nose and my upper lip and Cupid's bow. So I'm not sure exactly what that is, if it's the powder, if it's the highlighter, or the foundation. And my forehead's looking like a little bit oily, but not too bad. So overall, I think it's doing okay. It's not the best that I've worn at this time because it's only been on my face for like, so I did it at 10:30 and it's almost 4 o'clock now. So it's only been on my face for about 6 hours, a little under, but it's not looking too terrible right now, so that's good. But I am in line at Starbucks right now, and then I'm going to go get groceries, and we'll see how it looks after that. Hey everyone, so as you can see, it's the end of the day. It is 8:30 right now, and my makeup is clearly towards the end of the day. It was doing okay until about, so I did it at 10:30 this morning, and it's at 8:30 right now, so it's going on 10 hours. It was good until about 8 hours, maybe 9, and then it just kind of started looking like this. So it's come off like all the way around my nose, and I was wearing sunglasses, so that could be why. It's getting a little bit greasy on my forehead, and it's also kind of coming off of my chin, the sides of my face, kind of everywhere. So I would say for 8 solid hours it was good, which is a fairly long-lasting foundation, but if you're wanting to wear it more than that, I wouldn't do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and have a good day.